Really exciting week for us. Coming off a really exciting week for us, being able to play 3 games in this span of Saturday to Sunday was, I think, a great challenge. I think we really earned our stripes. Was really proud of the way that our team responded to that challenge as a team that requires a lot of energy with not just our style of play, but the way we want to feel about ourselves when we're on the floor. That was just a tremendous opportunity for us to really test our toughness and to really test how much we believe in some of those ideas. And I think we definitely passed the test. However, there's very little rest before we get opportunity to get back at it. We got on the floor yesterday and had some great individual workouts, just trying to find ways so late in the season where we can just continue to improve each day, which has been our goal throughout this whole journey of this season, starting with this summer. Playing a tremendous opponent in Georgia Tech that just really challenged you in some really specific ways. One of the best offensive rebounding teams in the conference, one of the best defensive teams and units in the conference. Play with a tremendous amount of toughness and are playing, I think, with a great deal of purpose this time of year. So we know that that's going to be a great challenge this week as well. But just excited to get out and practice today and see if we can be better today than we were yesterday.
What is this senior group meant to you and meant to this team?
I'm going to tell you what, it's a powerful collection of women. They're all unique. They're all very different. But they are all just vital to what we're doing, to the fabric of our culture, the way that we want to compete, the way that our locker room operates on days where we're not competing. Great senses of humor, great senses of who they are, and actually was just watching film with Aaliyah, and we had a conversation back, when we got all of our seniors here together, Simone obviously being the last one that joined the group. And, I just believe that your seniors, your upperclassmen, they're kind of your ceiling. And if it's a really high ceiling, then your team's got a great chance to do some special things and have a season like what we're having. And if those seniors don't understand how important they are in creating that ceiling, then it can be really low and it can be really disappointing. And obviously, with where we're sitting and everything to this point that our team has accomplished, our seniors have raised the ceiling really significantly. And I think we'll today in practice even raise it another notch higher, just to see if we can keep going a little bit higher, get a little bit better today, be a little bit better on Thursday's opportunity. But as people, they're blessings in my life. The fact that they can guard the basketball, shoot the basketball, are great athletes or great students. Those are all fantastic things, but they're really good human beings, and I'm proud to coach them.
Amanda, how proud are you of this team, the way they've handled not just the good times, but also the way they've handled adversity and bounced back from things?
Well, I think that it's a demonstration of all the things I was just saying and describing our seniors. It's so much about the who factor of this team. It's not so much about the points and the rebounds and the statistics or even the wins and losses. It's much more about who they are as people, their character, their internal makeup, what they believe about themselves, their levels of self-awareness. Those are just really, really powerful forces that I think are very palpable in this team. They're very evident, and they've led to some fantastic results, or you guys wouldn't be sitting here. Just a really special group. One of my assistants, Jimmy Gray Miller, says all the time, this is one of the funnest groups that she's ever coached. And I think we all feel that every day, that we're all on this journey this year that's really unique and special to Team 44 here at Clemson University. And I think we all just have a level of gratitude, just being grateful that we're all here together, that we were all brought here, for reasons that were different and, different circumstances all brought us here, but we're doing something really special. We're doing it together. And I think that sense of gratitude is something that's really strong within our unit as well.
Simone's been around college basketball for a while. What was she able to bring to this team as far as leadership?
You know, well, Simone's the only player on our team that's been to the NCAA tournament. You know, that's played in not in conference ball games. Obviously, everybody's done that, but played in conference ball games with a certain expectation. And I think that experience has been really helpful, especially in this month. Her voice and you know, the level of her game and the timeliness of the plays that she's making. But in particular, though, I just think, you know, the things that she's saying in huddles, the things that she's sharing, then still how she injects her sense of humor and lightness and things that are very specific to Simone as well. I think she's really keeps it all in balance, the right level of intensity, but not too much intensity, and just making sure, because obviously, you know, she knows, just like the rest of the seniors, that this is her last opportunity at college basketball. And so I think she wants to make it last as long as she can and wants to make it as grand as she possibly can. And you know, I think she's really adding to our environment in all those ways, and probably many more, but probably don't need to list them all right now.
Amanda, when you got the job and you saw the roster and you laid out your own goals for this team, for Team 44, did you imagine being where you are at today? And, you know, and with that being said, last year's team had a lot to overcome when you got here. It's you've taken the team a long way in a short period of time. And again, like you said, or we wouldn't be here. Tell us your thoughts about what you've seen this year transpire on the court for your own sake, what you've done.
Well, you know, I think one of the best things that our coaching staff probably did is that we didn't come in with a lot of like, hey, here's what we can do, and here's our list of goals. Let's check them off. And if we don't get here, then it's going to be disappointing. If we do get here, then it's going to be great. I think we really approached it probably much with that same open-mindedness that I described the players as having, of like, let's discover what's great about this group, and then let's figure out. Now, our job as coaches, once we kind of have an idea of what it is that makes them special, now let's try to figure out game plans and ways to make the game about that. And let's not let the games be about the things that aren't in our locker room or aren't our skill set or aren't the things that we're really good at, because we're just going to be chasing our tail if that's the case. And so I think that discovery process it's something that still, I say it's our group a lot of times before games, like, I can't wait to play today and see what you guys are going to teach me about you that's going to help us win the next game, because it seems like every game we've learned a different way we can win, or we've seen something different or special that we hadn't seen to that point. You know, and as coaches, we've tried to do, you know, just a really responsible job with taking those discoveries and then applying them into the next game plan, and trying to lay that next layer of confidence in the things that we're doing. But, you know, a lot of discovery, a lot of open-mindedness. I think a lot of things where we didn't want to have too many predetermined ideas about the team, because then we might be in danger of limiting them. And so we definitely didn't want to overcoach in that regard. We wanted them to show us who they were. That's what we challenged them to do from the very, very beginning. From the very, very beginning, you know, the things that I told them before I even had my staff together was, I want to know two things from you. Can I trust you? And will you work hard for me? And I'm going to try to show you things, those two things as well. I'm going to try to show you that you can trust me, and I'm going to work real hard for you. And then we'll just figure everything else out as we go. But if we start there, that's going to be something that we can really build on. That's going to be our best chance at discovering what our best looks like. And then every day we've just tried to chase or better our best, if that makes sense. We've tried to, and today that's what we'll talk about in the locker room. We want February 19th, 2019 Clemson to try to be better than Clemson's best. That's what our challenge is today. And that growth of trust. We talk a lot about our TLC, you know, the cultivating the loyalty and the commitment to a process that hopefully differentiates us from everybody else. Let's keep pouring into that every day, every week, and along this journey as we can as well. But, you know, it's been, you know, just a lot of fun, because there's just a special group of people here. And they just happen to be student athletes. They just happen to be basketball coaches or trainers or strength coaches, where there's a really special collection of people, and I'm just real proud to be part of them.
How do you keep the team's focus? You're starting to hear the chatter now about the postseason. How do you keep them focused on these next 3 games?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a challenge, for all coaches this time of year. And so the things that we're trying to make sure we're devoting all of our energy to are the things that we can control. And so we're even at this late date in the season, we're still trying to make sure that we're expanding our level of self-awareness. And so we have, gosh, 2 or 3 conversations probably a week where we might just list, what does it mean to be us? What does it mean to be the Ugly Ducklings? Or what does it mean to be Team 44? Or, when we chant things like family or us or together, like what does that mean for this group, so that we're constantly not just defining, because at this point we're not completely defined, but we are reinforcing. What are we about and who are we? And one of the answers that's not in that description is a member of the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee. We can't do anything about what they're deciding in the next few weeks except for be the best version of us. And so can we improve today? That's what we need to do. That's what where our emphasis and our focus needs to be. We talk a lot about what maturity is, and part of maturity is not sometimes being overwhelmed by circumstances and being able to focus on the things that are really, really important, not get distracted by the things that we can't impact. So we're constantly having conversations around the things that we think are important, and also trying to make them aware of conversations that other people might try to introduce into their lives that could be distractions of our energy. The way we play requires a tremendous amount of energy. So we need to make sure that we're directing all of that energy in the right direction. And so chatter or, conversations about, what if this, what if that, they don't have anything to do with getting better today and getting ready for a really, really good Georgia Tech team. So we're just going to keep putting energy in the right direction.
Are you surprised how well you shot the basketball, particularly here as of late? Because I'll go back to fall. I don't know that anybody believed this was going to be a good shooting team, and all of a sudden, not only are you shooting it well inside the arc, but also outside the arc.
No, I'm not surprised at all, because, we're really not taking more threes than we were earlier in the year. We're just hitting a few more, and that's just the accumulation of almost every day this year. Danny Edwards getting up extra shots with, her position coach. Daniel's their assistant coach for the guards. He gets those guards out there, Simone and Danny. And once Aaliyah got healthy for us, Camry was the best shooter the other night. They've just been doing that all season long. And now we're just kind of starting to see the indication on the stat sheet a little bit. So it's not really a surprise, because I've been watching that process unfold. We have another thing in our program, that I wouldn't say it's a saying. It's obviously a scripture, Galatians 6:9, don't grow weary in doing good. And, that's obviously can be applied in many different ways. But for us, we choose to, let's be real clear about what we think doing good means as a basketball player, and let's not grow weary in doing that. Whether we hit the shot, miss the shot, win the game, lose the game, let's know who we are, and let's keep doing the things that reinforce who we are. And we've always been a team that could shoot, but we needed to be really disciplined about what shots we take, when we take them. Are they in rhythm? Are we taking them with a great deal of confidence? And when you've spent an entire season getting up hundreds of extra shots every day and every week, well, there's going to be nights where you go 9 from 12, from the three-point line. So it's just not going to be what we hang our hats on, though. We're going to keep playing hard and try to make it about defense and tempo and some of those things. And as long as we take good threes, we might hit them, we might not. If we do, then it gives another thing to talk about. If we don't, we're going to go down and guard you.
Is it even more rewarding for you as a coach to see these players have the success when you consider the struggles that some of them have had and kind of the losses that they faced early on in their career and some of that kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah. For the group of returners, again, not including Mo in that group, that have never had the opportunity to think about the NCAA tournament or postseason. I mean, as a competitor and someone who got to experience it as a player and has experienced it many times as a coach, I mean, it's fun. I mean, it's just so fun. The term March Madness and all the energy and excitement that, goes around that, it's really fun to feel like you're part of that. And, so for us to be in those conversations and for those to be obviously something where we can say, yeah, we're one of those teams. That's really, really important, and I think for them fulfilling. And then for me, who just kind of gets to be part of their journey, oh my gosh, I'm just so happy for them to experience the way that feels. But we just got to make sure we're putting first things first, and we don't let that become the focus or that become what's most important until it's time to actually prepare for that.
Last question.
Do you change a little bit now later in the season with as much energy as this team gives every night on the floor? Does the workouts change a little bit? Do you have a feeling that we need to throttle back a little as far as working the team out?
I mean, we're not practicing for 2 hours and, going at each other right now. We certainly, taper. I think most people do. And but what we haven't tapered is our level of intensity. The duration, certainly, it kind of changes based on what the week looks like for us. Our strength coach, Caitlin Cunningham, does a great job of giving me information about what our heart rates and our loads and, and all those different sports science elements that are good indicators of is our energy level going to be where it needs to be to compete, 2 days from now or tomorrow, whatever the case may be. We take all that into consideration. But really what's important right now, I think, is a level of recovery and energy as it relates to, the mental game and being able, however many 20-something games in now, our season's so long. And that's another area where I think our team just deserves a tremendous amount of credit to come out and play a very good Boston College team at the end of a very tough week this deep into the season with overwhelming energy. But I also think that that's what we've grown to expect. And, I always kind of like that quote, your only limitation is your expectation. Our team expects to play with great energy every night, whether they've had a day of rest, whether they had a hard practice the day before, whether they got on a plane, or whether they walked across the street to come play the ball game. That's our expectation, and we don't expect it to be any different in these last 3 games, regardless of how deep in the season we are. It's us. That's how we play.